Welcome back to Caprio's Court Stories. As I digress today's video is about a truly heartwarming case from Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom. A struggling father who couldn't afford to pay his fine. What happened next will restore your faith in humanity. Let's dive into the story of compassion, justice, and kindness. The city of Providence, Rhode Island, is home to thousands of ordinary people, each with their own struggles, dreams, and stories. In the midst of these lives stands a courtroom that has become famous around the world. The courtroom of Judge Frank Caprio. Unlike most courts where people feel fear, here people feel hope, and that hope often comes from the judge himself, who is known for balancing the law with kindness. On this particular morning, the courtroom was full as usual. People shuffled papers, some looked nervous, while others whispered quietly as they waited for their turn. The clerk called the next case. A man walked slowly toward the front, his steps heavy, his face marked with exhaustion. He looked like someone carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Judge Caprio, with his warm and welcoming tone, greeted him. "Good morning, sir. What brings you here today?" The man bowed his head slightly and replied in a low voice, "Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here because of a traffic ticket. I was caught speeding, but a broken bar. I don't have the money to pay the fine. I've been struggling just to keep food on the table for my kids." The courtroom grew quiet. Everyone could sense that this was not just another case. There was something deeper in his voice, a mix of shame, honesty, and desperation. Judge Caprio leaned forward, adjusting his glasses. He wanted to hear more. "Tell me about your situation," he said gently. The man took a deep breath and explained. He was a single father, raising 2 children after his wife had left years ago. His older child was in middle school, the younger one in elementary. He worked 2 jobs, one as a janitor at a local store, and another doing odd construction work whenever he could get it. Despite his efforts, his income barely covered rent, groceries, and school supplies. "Every month feels like a battle, Judge," he said softly. "Some days I skip meals just so my kids can eat. And now this fine, a broken bar. I honestly don't know how I can pay it without hurting them." He wiped his eyes with his sleeve. There was no anger in his words, only exhaustion and honesty. He wasn't trying to escape responsibility, he was simply asking for understanding. The room fell into silence. Even those waiting for their cases seemed moved. A woman sitting in the back whispered, "Poor man, he's just trying to survive." Judge Caprio paused, looking at him with compassion. He had seen many cases in his life, but what set this apart was the father's sincerity. He wasn't making excuses. He wasn't blaming anyone, he was just being real. "Sir," Judge Caprio said, "the law is very clear about speeding fines. Normally, you'd be required to pay. But I also believe the law must have a heart. You're not a criminal. You're a father who is working hard and facing struggles that many people cannot even imagine." The man looked up, his eyes filled with hope but still uncertain. Judge Caprio continued, "If I take away this money from you today, it means your children will go without food or school supplies. That would not be justice. Justice must also be about compassion." The father covered his face with his hands, overwhelmed with emotion. The audience in the courtroom watched quietly, many of them visibly touched. "I'm not going to impose this fine," Judge Caprio declared. "Instead, I want you to make me a promise. Keep working hard, keep taking care of your kids, and one day, when life is kinder to you, pass that kindness forward to someone else who may need it." The man could no longer hold back his tears. He broke down, thanking the judge again and again. "God bless you, Judge. I promise a broken bar. I'll never forget this. You don't know what this means to me and my children." The people sitting in the courtroom began to clap softly, something rarely seen in a court of law. Some wiped away tears. Even the court staff, who usually kept a straight face, looked deeply moved. One clerk whispered to another, "This is why people all over the world love Judge Caprio. He sees the person, not just the case." As the man walked out, there was a sense of relief on his face. For him, this wasn't just about saving money, it was about being seen, being understood, and being treated with dignity at a time when life had stripped him of so much. This story later spread online, reaching millions of people. Many commented how this simple act of kindness gave them hope. One viewer wrote, "I wish every judge could be like Judge Caprio. The world would be a better place." Another said, "This story made me cry. It reminded me that compassion is the most powerful form of justice." But beyond the millions who watched, the real impact was on that father and his children. For them, Judge Caprio's kindness wasn't just a viral story, it was food on their table, relief in their hearts, and hope for their future. And that's what makes Judge Frank Caprio unique. His courtroom isn't just about fines and tickets. It's about humanity. It's about teaching us that behind every case, there is a real person, with real struggles, dreams, and responsibilities. This case reminds us all of a powerful truth: everyone makes mistakes, but sometimes what a person needs is not punishment, but understanding. Sometimes what they need is not a fine, but a chance. Judge Caprio could have easily followed the rulebook and charged the man, but instead, he chose to follow his heart, showing the world that justice and compassion are not opposites, they are partners. So what do you think? Was Judge Caprio right in forgiving the struggling father, or should the law always be strict, no matter the circumstances? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story and want to hear more real courtroom moments filled with kindness and inspiration, don't forget to subscribe to Caprio's Court Stories. As I dirs because here, every case is not just about the law, it's about life, compassion, and humanity.